on American Girl Horror Story. That was a fantastic dinner. Thank you for cooking it for us.
My pleasure. It is the least that I could do after you let me stay in your place. I will just go out and walk across the grounds. I guess I will also practice my sword. It will not do to be rusty. You never know when I will need it.
It sounds like it is coming from the lake. Let's see what is going on there. This is where the scream came from. It sounded a lot like Georgina's voice. I wonder what happened to her now?
Take that, you evil monster, and take that and that!
Freya, what is going on? Why are you hurling fire blasts at the lake?
Gloomy, I saw a monster in the lake. I was walking past it when I saw a hideous monster making noise on the stones beside the lake. When it saw me, it jumped in the lake and swam away.
Goodness, a monster? That is so weird. I didn't know there was a monster in this lake.
Have to get rid of it. Who knows that pestilence and evil it will bring to this place?
The only evil and pestilence comes from you, you dark elf!
Oh, stop that monster!
Georgina, stop. What happened to you? You have a tail and fins. Don't tell me. You were a mermaid? All this time?
Yes, I am a mermaid. Whenever I get wet, I transform into my real form, which is a mermaid. I never intended it to be a secret, but I never got the chance to reveal my true self because you were all treating me horribly.
I am so sorry you felt that way, Georgina. I admit that I could have been nicer.
That is why I feel suspicious towards her. My fire magic senses her water magic. Yes, and this is my time to get even with you while I am at my mermaid form. I am so much more powerful, and my water magic will take care of you. Oh, stop hitting me with your water splash! I am getting weak!
Oh no. I have to stop their quarrel. I need to use my air magic to separate them.
Oh, the air turned my water frigid! I am freezing!
It is not my intention to freeze you, Georgina. But I have to stop you because you are hurting Freya.
I am very angry with you, Gloomy and Freya. I will retaliate and you will be sorry. You have both been mean to me. Thanks, Gloomy. If you haven't stopped her, my fire would have been totally extinguished. Who knew that Georgina is a mermaid? Their water magic is stronger than fire magic.
It is good that air magic is stronger than water magic. If she was a fairy with earth magic, I will have a hard time stopping her since earth magic is stronger than air magic. But we will have to make amends. I feel that Georgina is just hurt and angry right now. She isn't bad. I wonder where Georgina went? It has been a week and we haven't seen her. I hope not. Anyway, let's read tonight's spooky story. Welcome to American Girl Doll Horror Stories, where every Sunday, we will share a spooky story that will send shivers down your thorny spine. I am Gloomy Sunday and I am your narrator. And of course, my cat, Soot. Without further ado, let me call my book of shadows so we can begin tonight's spooky story. By what creeps, what crawls, by what does not. Book of shadows, dilly-dally not. The elevator game. This story is from the point of view of a man who became curious about the elevator game. This turns out to be a very big mistake. I played the elevator game. I first read about the elevator ritual from some guy on Reddit. I don't know if he really experienced what he said he did or just made up the whole story, but it made me interested in the subject. I saw a bunch of YouTube videos of people playing it, without any success, and I wanted to try it out myself. I live in an apartment in a 14-story building since a couple of months back. Yesterday, I didn't have anyone to hang out with, so I decided that I should try this out to see if this really works. I entered the elevator on the first floor, like the instructions said. I pressed the button for the 4th floor and felt entirely convinced that nothing strange or out of the ordinary would happen. A couple of seconds went by, I was on the 4th floor and pressed the button for the 2nd floor. At this point, I suddenly felt a lot more creeped out. It was almost as if something was warning me to not proceed, and thinking back now after everything that has happened, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I pressed the buttons in the order that the instructions said. Right before I pressed the button for the 5th floor where the woman was supposed to get on, I swear I heard a woman laughing in a creepy way somewhere outside the elevator. It could have been just an ordinary person in my brain making it sound a lot scarier, but that was what I heard. I pressed the button for the 5th floor and waited nervously for what felt like half a minute. I know that I shouldn't even have looked out the door at that point, but I did and I was shocked. In front of me was this famous deceased Hollywood actress that I have had a crush on since I was a teenager. She just looked at me with a warm smile and entered the elevator without taking her eyes off me. I was completely flabbergasted and even forgot about the game for a moment. She was wearing a vintage-looking dark blue skirt suit and white gloves. Her long brown hair was tied neatly in a bun and her long slim legs looked just as good as in the movies. Her face looked just as pretty as ever and she had the same appearance as she did in the late 1950s or early 1960s, I think. I even thought about saying something before I looked in the mirror behind her. Her clothes were molding and her legs and her neck had a greenish-looking tone with scars covering them. The little handbag she was carrying looked tattered, as if it hadn't been used for decades. I turned away and pressed the button for the 1st floor. Just as the instructions said, the elevator started ascending to the 10th floor instead of going down to the first one. She asked me where I was going and I tried ignoring her. The doors opened at the 10th floor and I exited the elevator without turning back. The first thing I noticed was that this hallway was a lot darker than the other ones. I looked out the window and noticed that it was nighttime. When I entered the elevator a couple of minutes before that, it was 3 p.m. and completely light outside. I saw a small red cross on top of one of the buildings, just as the instructions said. I didn't see any people or any lights. Everything was covered in some kind of mist and I couldn't see my legs or feet because of it. Thinking that this was enough and that I should go back, I turned around and noticed that the doors to the elevator were still open and that the lights were on. I heard a faint giggle coming from over there. For a moment I thought that I had no escape, but I decided that I should get on the elevator from another floor. I hurried up the stairs in complete darkness, while having the terrible feeling of someone or something chasing me from behind. I tripped over the stairs when I reached the 11th floor and probably hit my head on a wall. I think I passed out, but the thing is, I woke up on the bed in my apartment. Everything seemed normal. I looked out the window and the sun was shining, people were walking down the street and someone was talking in the apartment next to mine. I knew that I hadn't dreamed the whole thing and that I didn't end the ritual. I was too exhausted and creeped out to do anything though, so I just decided to take a nap and skip the morning lecture. Never in my 20 years of life had I experienced anything like that before. I woke up 2 hours later when my friend texted me, "Where are you?" I told him that I overslept in that time on my way. I took a shower and thought about having breakfast, but I wasn't hungry. I left my apartment and immediately noticed an out of service sign hanging on the elevator. That wasn't the only thing that was out of the ordinary. Every person, and I mean every single one passing by me, smiled at me. At first I thought they were unusually nice and polite, but I was soon under the impression that something was very wrong. I got a message from my friend, which simply was this following smiley, smile. I hurried back to my apartment, locked the door and wrote all of this. I don't know if anyone is reading this, but if you do, please help me. The elevator game is an urban legend that appears to have originated in Korea, as the earliest records of the elevator game were in Korea. Rules of the game began circulating online after the death of Elisa Lam in 2013. Lam's body was found in a water tank above the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, and video footage of her before her death showed her in the elevator, acting strangely. Theories began to circulate that she had died because she had been playing the elevator game. Since then, it has become popular in social media circles to attempt to play the game yourself. Many YouTubers have documented their attempts at playing the elevator game at all hours of the night to see what the outcome is. The elevator game rules are simple, so if you're a thrill seeker or a fan of the paranormal, you can attempt it for yourself, if you dare. That is all for tonight's spooky story. Please come back next Sunday as we share another scary story from the dark side of the world. Again, this is Gloomy Sunday and that is my cat, Soot. Blessed be.